You got to be here during the breaks because, well, you just got it. Anyway, hell no, we won't go along. Some big health insurers indicating today they'll stop selling new child-only policies. The same insurers who recently announced big premium hikes to pay for the law, now going one step further to address what they say are added cost burdens tucked into that law. Reaction now from our Biz All-Stars, including Susie Coelho, Mike Norman, Lizzie McDonald. Susie, what do you think?
Well, you know, healthcare is 16% of the GDP in the U.S., and this bill was drafted by academics, lawyers, and economists, not by anyone with enough operating experience to really understand the cause and effect of all the moving parts. So unintended consequences, which they talk about, is now our new way of life.
You know what's interesting? I always think when someone fears that the powerful guy doesn't look so powerful, or in this case the president looks so popular, they just run for the hills.
Yeah, could be. That's a good point. But I think the bill...
Oh, I make many of them.
Yeah, I know you do. But the bill, the law is a bad law. And I've been saying this all along. I mean, basically, when you know, it's directed through the health insurance companies as opposed to, you know, he gave up on the single payer option, the government payer option. So basically, you hand over $3 trillion to the health insurance companies, but you cap what they're allowed to charge on many types of healthcare services, and they're going to operate within the law to ration in other areas. So we go from one form of rationing, which we had before in the private system, to another form of rationing now precisely because the law was designed poorly. That's what's happening.
But you know, Lizzie, I was in Washington when this thing was being voted on, and while I'm not as smart as you reading this stuff, I could clearly remember reading about the distinct probability of premiums going up. In fact, one said up to 9%. Lo and behold, we get the 1 to 9% figure mentioned earlier. Now, some, like Anthem and others, have been charged with wanting to raise them a lot more. My point is this such a shock?
Yeah, I'm thinking, newsflash, really? Of course businesses are going to respond this way.
And the understanding was they would have to account for their added costs.
Yeah, that's right, Neil. And, you know, how many pages is the health reform bill? 2,000, 3,000. It's going to be 30,000 at the end of the day, because at the end of it all, because they have to create 32 new government agencies, and it's going to leave businesses feeling all across the country like they're stranded in traffic. And the big unintended consequence of all is this massive health insurance exchange that Kathleen Sebelius has touted. We saw it collapse in California, where Susie Coelho is. In 2006, a similar health insurance exchange went into a death spiral. It couldn't basically pay out the premiums because it attracted a lot of sick people. That's who gravitated toward these health insurance.
In all fairness, I mean, you know, health insurance premiums had been going up forever.
You're absolutely right about that.
Whose premium hasn't? Mine every year. 15%.
But I think people you're absolutely right about that. I think people were the naive view, though, that, well, now that stops. And I was telling them back then, you guys were that it wasn't going to stop.
Yeah, that's right. It wasn't going to stop.
But you can't cover, but you can't cover 30 million more people and mandate all sorts of new benefits without dramatically increasing health care costs. And the bottom line, as Lizzie said, is insurers they're insurers, and they need to stay in business by insuring a lot of healthy people,
I dealt with some really disreputable insurance. I'm the first one to tell you, some of these guys, not all can be thieves. So I think some of them are using this as an excuse to stick it to people.
Yeah, they are.
And they've got great cover to do so.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And, you know, you got these companies, remember how they behaved during Y2K? The world was falling down, and we're going to blame everything on Y2K. Look, I'm saying that they could be blaming a lot of cost increases on this, too. And, yeah, the health insurance
industry, and now they've got the feeling that
they behaved really poorly.
The president is not Oz. He's a guy behind a curtain. He's lost his magic, his luster, and they're going to challenge him every step of the way.
Yeah, they are going to push back. We do need health reform, though. Not this
but we don't need
I think, you know, I agree. We need health reform. I think it was a badly designed program.
Well, the argument was half a loaf is better than no loaf.
Well, we need health reform, but we don't need the government.
You're not even getting that.
Yeah. All right, guys, we'll see you back in a second. In the meantime, could the president learn something from Panama? What a pro-business leader sounds like, way south of our border. Then Ben Stein says he's being punished, and he's going to have to pay. But all Ben wants to know is what he did wrong. Okay. So the president's not anti-business. Lizzie, of course you buy that, right?
No, I'm not buying that. Look, the White House is not a hotbed of free marketers. I mean, Mr. Volcker is the moral voice of the White House. But, you know, when you look through the bailouts, yes, Wall Street got massive bailouts. We had massive bailouts of the auto companies. But when you look through the details, you see pay caps, you see the pay czar, you see, you know, the Chrysler creditors called speculators by the president who should basically sacrifice for the better good of all. And even when the president gave a speech, a commencement speech last May in 2009, he said basically, you know, you spend your life looking for the fancy enough title, the fancy enough corner office via ruthless competition on your own, and you should basically go work at a nonprofit that's struggling. That was his advice. So that's the president's voice there. And when you look at the details, not so much free market.
I know I get heat and flack when I say this, Mike, but I think he does hate rich people. I really do.
Well, I don't know how you could look at what has happened and say that. I mean, look, Lizzie pointed out.
Because he keeps saying it.
I got to agree with Paul Volcker on it. I think the whole thing is a charade, to be honest with you. I mean, he's given trillions of dollars to banks in the financial sector. He opposed the breakup of big banks. He's bailed out 2 of the big 3 automakers. Businesses are sitting on $2 trillion in profits, and what's he doing? He's giving them tax breaks on top of that. What has he done for the little guy, the guy who he ran for, people who are losing their homes, people who don't have jobs? He's doing nothing for them. There hasn't been a payroll tax cut.
All right, well, besides that, all right, Susie, though, I'm looking at him, I'm thinking, you know, when he always had these Rose Garden events with the greedy fat cats, it was the health insurance guys, it was the bank guys, the brokerage guys. Mike's quite right to say that he would bend and do some stuff for them down there, but they were always vilified. And I talk to a lot of these guys, and they always say, usually off the record, which always bothers me, but they always say, you know, we're sick of this nonsense.
Right. Well, we are sick of this nonsense, and actions speak louder than words, and Obama's actions are screaming anti-business. Going on to what both my counterparts said there, the heaping of new costs on small businesses with health care, the raising of taxes by eliminating the Bush tax cuts, the cozying up with labor unions, the taking over of whole industries like the student loan industry,
you can't argue
the
that.
villainizing of Wall Street,
Small businesses.
I mean, none of this makes small business feel like
you got your point very clearly across. What do you think, Mike?
Small businesses are individuals. Those are the people I'm talking about. They're not getting the breaks, okay? Big business, the ones who are complaining most.
So you think he's still a suck-up to business?
Absolutely.
Okay, Lizzie?
I tend to agree, but I wouldn't use those words in so many words. But, you know, I think that the small businesses, yeah, they want that upper bracket tax cut. And will the president deliver? You know, possibly not.
I just think once burned, it's very, very, very tough to get these guys back in your corner. And a lot of them feel, and you talk to them too, Mike, a lot of them are your clients. And they go back and they feel, you're not worth my time.
But you know how you get them back into your corner, Neil?
Provide a good economy.
Exactly. And how do you do that?
Exactly.
Yeah, because what's he doing? He keeps saying
you have to trust
business and the financial sector have to lead us out. You know what has to lead us out? People with money and jobs. That's what's going to lead us out. And he's doing nothing because he's not helping them.
So, Susie, I'm looking at that. There's a reason why they're hoarding cash. There's a reason why individuals are hoarding cash who are not rich. They're just nervous, and there's nothing this guy is doing that are making them feel less so. Continue.
Oh, it just is infuriating because America was built, we all know, on entrepreneurial spirit. And this administration is not letting us flourish and prosper, and that's what's needed. So we need to definitely create jobs.
Because Mike Norman is its only friend. Its only business friend.
That is exactly right. He's his only friend.
Mike, what do you think
right now? It's my 10-year-old would say pretty much.
You know, I think you said it. I mean,
that you're the only friend?
I'm the only friend of Obama?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Do you want Larry Summers' job? Is that what's going on?
I would love Larry Summers. Let me tell you something. In 90 days, we're out of this mess. So we have full employment, full output. 90 days. Put me in there.
90 days?
90 days. Wow. Absolutely.
First time in history that there's more public sector jobs than private sector jobs.
No, I think the Fox News alert here is Mike Norman is open to Summers' job. 90 days. All this will be wrapped up.
All be wrapped up. Absolutely.
There you go, Mr. President. I know you're in New York, just down the street. You're watching. Just get Mr. President. Come on, you're watching. Talk to him. Talk to him. He has nothing to do with me. He's a friend But you could do worse, actually. You know you already have. All right, so
You left some Mike over there.
Tomorrow, I'm kidding, lighten up. I always get these liberals who call, that was not funny. Tomorrow, North Dakota Democratic Senator Byron Dorgan, my special guest. Thanks for watching. Here's Scoreboard now.